Hello everybody, my name is Lucas, and today I'm feeling a bit under the weather, so I'm going to be skipping hockey for today, but I think I'm going to do a quote-unquote mega episode of Bionicle. By that I mean I'm going to be basically speed running areas I've done before, and that's just because I've unlocked the Paraka in these areas, right? So that means I can get all the stuff. So I'm missing a couple canisters there. A couple canisters there. A couple canisters there. And canisters there. So yeah, this shouldn't take me very long because I won't be looking for everything. No way to skip the cutscenes, but oh well. They're not long anyway. Recording under the light of the full moon tonight. I don't think I'm going to turn into a werewolf. So yeah, we've unlocked Vezok. Let's get the first thing here. First gold canister. Alright, so because this is Bionicle, it's nice and relaxed, so I can actually talk about stuff. First thing I'm going to talk about, Friday Night Magic. It was one of my friend's birthday at Magic, so I decided that I would have some fun and make a nice for fun deck. And what I decided to build was a sliver aggro deck with Rally the Ancestors and Grapple with the Past and Satyr Wayfinder to provide like an explosive end game. Which I don't think anyone would be expecting, especially from what at first glance is just a sliver aggro deck. So yeah, I ended up actually going 3-1 with a really just built to have fun deck. Which was surprising, actually. Because I was resigned to the 1-3 life. And I lost a total of 3 games. And they were all in a row at the beginning of the night. Because I lost 2-0 in the first round against Mono Black Devotion. Really just because I kept shoddy hands. Well, first hand wasn't shoddy, but it got pulled apart. Second hand, he mulled to 4, but I kept a 1-lander and didn't draw the second land until like turn 6, turn 7. So it's like, yes, he did technically win on a mull to 4, but it was a mull to 4 that it was a mull to 4 that was basically against another mull to 4, because I was able to cast 1 spell in my hand. I believe we've gotten this already. Somewhere along here there's one that I can actually use an ability for. Oh. Now this Vacu's gonna stand back up. Silver canister 4 and 5. There we go. Yeah, so second round, I went up against a scape shift deck, but the guy only had 2 scape shifts because he was still in the process of searching for the others. So it was more of a Titan shift deck, and yeah, I lost game 1. And then I won in the next 2 games, which I did not expect to do. Game 2, on my 8th turn, I had a graveyard just full of slivers. And yeah, just top decked Rally the Ancestors, which was my only out. Hit him for exactly lethal. And yeah, game 3, I kept a rather sketchy all-in on Anger the Gods hand, and I just kind of was able to play through it, and I had rallies in my hand the entire game. Rally the Ancestors, for anyone who might not quite know what the card is, it's a 2 white and X instant. Return each creature card with converted mana cost X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Exile those creatures at the beginning of your next end step. Exile Rally the Ancestors. So it's rather hard to abuse because you don't get them. You don't get the creatures back, and you're not able to attack with them. There's all of those. But with slivers, there are multiple slivers that give other slivers you control and themselves haste, because slivers are fair and balanced as a tribe. They actually are pretty balanced, especially the older ones that affect both sides, which gives them downside to playing such powerful creatures. And so yeah, round 3 I went up against Bogles. I played against Bogles every week for the past month and a bit now, I think. And I've somehow managed to play every Bogle player that shows up every time. We'll get to open the Paraka-gate. But yeah, it was not a close match against Bogles. I mean, he played well, but game 1 he mulled the 6 and kept a hand with 2 ley lines, which against a player is an aficionado of Storm, not a bad move. Unfortunately, I was not playing Storm, nor was I playing a deck that targeted him at all. So the possible choice, or the choice of keeping a hand with that many ley lines didn't pay off, and I was able to win quite easily because it was essentially a mold of 4 and I had a functioning hand. Game 2, I damn near had a turn 3 kill. Ah, nuts. Well, I'm gonna have to do a Vazon mega episode at some point, because that's the way I'm supposed to go. Wait, that's the one I need Vazon to get, I think, just because I need to jump between there. This one I just need Matoro. And that really cool ability. He has to just... Okay, so... I think I can just head right through to the end now, because got all the ones I can get in this level. So yeah, I beat... If I had drawn an untapped red source, then I would have had a turn 3 kill. As it stood, turn 4. With the double virulent sliver. Which was friggin' brutal. Like, I had him... My turn 1 play was Virulent Sliver, turn 2 was Virulent Sliver and Gale Rider Sliver. Turn 3 I don't think I had a play, but it didn't matter. I put him to nearly lethal infect on my 3rd turn, and then he would have needed a bunch of flying blockers, or the ability to path the... Gale Rider and then Chump, and even then he's not in a great position. So yeah, at that point I was 2-1, and I was like, I was pretty pumped about that, because this was a deck, again, I expected to go 1-3, and just, you know what, I'm gonna lose, but I'm gonna have fun, and then I just kept winning with it. And the guy that I had been talking to about this deck was like, oh yeah, I'm not surprised you're doing well. And I don't get that, because it was a massive surprise to me that I could do that well with a deck like that. Because it's 20 land, 29 slivers, I believe, and then just the 3 grapple with the pass, 4 rallies, and 4 Satyr Wayfinders. And just, yeah, cross my fingers and hope I manage to pull off some shenanigans. And my 4th match, in the final round was against Mono Green Charbelcher. 7 lands, a metric shit ton of spells to find more lands, and then 4 copies of Goblin Charbelcher. And yeah, the odds were against me in game 2, because game one I'm pretty sure I was able to finish him off before I was in any real danger. But game 2 there was like 2 or 3 lands in his deck and 45 cards. I counted it all out, because that's what you do in the final round when you're basically playing for... I'm pretty sure winner would have got first. No, winner got second. I know, because I came second behind the Mishra Ironworks player. Basically, combining Metalwork Colossus and Mishra with the Krark Clan Ironworks combo shell. And he predictably went undefeated, because that deck is really, really powerful. Except apparently against 5-color Zuberas. Though he did say he was prepared to lose if he went up against 5-color Slivers, which again, I don't know why anyone would be prepared to lose against that. Because he wasn't even running any of the really broken ones. Bone Scythe Sliver was my big finisher. But yeah, I won 2-0 against Goblin Charbelcher. Survived 2 consecutive activations with like half my health left over, which I don't get how I was able to. Like, the odds of that happening were very much against me. Like, even if he had 2 or 3 lands left, even if he had like 3 lands left in his deck, then the the odds of him hitting a land in the first 15 cards, pretty sure it's 1 in 3, because 3 lands, 45 cards, 1 in every 15 cards. And yeah, I'm pretty sure I should have lost that second game. Just because I didn't top deck Pithing Needle, I didn't mill an Ancient Grudge. And I just was able to just squeak it out on turn 5. Yeah, turn 5, and I went on my turn 5, so he got 5 turns, and I somehow didn't die to Charbelcher. But I mean, it shows that that Charbelcher deck is pretty legit. If it, like, it definitely could win on turn 4. Like, I've seen what's in it. There's got to be a way to get up there. It's probably around here somewhere. I don't know if I went up this way last time. Or if I did... Yeah, I definitely did. Yes, that was fun. And then, day after, I decided to play Blue-White Control at Standard Showdown. I went 2-1. And that was without running any copies of Settle the Wreckage, only 3 Fumigates, and yeah, just in general, it was a underwhelming control deck. Wow, there's like not a lot hidden in the first part of this level. Yeah, my first matchup was against a Paradoxical Outcome, Metalwork Colossus, Aetherflux Reservoir Storm deck. And despite me hitting him with 15, 20 of my counterspells in game 2, and like, not that much, but most of them in game 1. He was able to play through it and ended up winning 2-0. And then I played my other deck. We played a couple for fun games, and yeah, I just won 2 quick games because the other deck was red-black aggro. And despite me not running Goblin Chain Whirlers as a matter of principle, it's still a really good deck. And then round 2 wasn't really a match, because the guy left his deck at home or something, misplaced it somehow, and then so he just took a bunch of the cards he had on hand and threw together a standard deck from them, and yeah, it would have been an amazing seal deck. Unfortunately, against a pretty good control deck. Unfortunately, you're not going to get very many wins with what amounts to a seal deck. So yeah, that was 2-0 for me. A couple of really confusing scoops, because like didn't scoop to a board wipe, and then scoop to something that seemed kinda meaningless, like a cast out on a 1/1 because I was at 5 life or something like that. I'm invincible, so I don't really need to worry about that. Yeah, then game 3. Game 3 I fully expected to lose, mostly because I built the deck that I was playing against. It is the blue-green Merfolk deck that I crafted with the cards, because a friend of mine wanted to play Standard, and he wanted to play Standard Merfolk. So we got a bunch of the cards together and made a pretty decent Standard Merfolk deck. And it's done really well. It would have won the event if he had gotten... This wasn't the friend I built the deck for. It's the guy who played Mono Green Charbelcher, but he didn't have a standard deck, and so I was like, well, I bring extras. So if you just want to play some Magic, just yeah. Played against Blue Green Merfolk, and probably should have lost that game, knowing what's in the sideboard, but I got some timely fumigates, and ended up with a 2-1 record, which I shared with multiple other people. Then we basically played Commander until 9. Yeah, that was the night of Magic. On Friday, it is worth noting, I played a Commander game with a deck that I fondly call my no win condition deck. It's basically Tatiova Turbo Fog. I had fun. One of the guys I was playing against was like, we should probably watch out for that. We should probably watch out for him, because I know what his win condition is, and I know he probably has it. He was playing 5-color God Tribal, and I managed to use Dreadwaters, which mills a player for the amount of land I control. I controlled 20-something land at the time, so basically I cast Dreadwaters on myself to put my entire deck into my graveyard, and then played Lab Maniac and a card draw spell with 2 counter spells to back it up. And that's the only way that deck wins. It is technically a win condition, but apart from my opponent decking themselves, because I can, if I need to, just keep looping Reclaim and what's the card? Mending of Dominaria. He kinda went crazy. So I can basically just put my library, my graveyard into my library infinitely with that, which is nice. And then I actually won another game with it, but it was a game of Two-Headed Giant, where the other guy was also playing a Tatiova deck. And in Two-Headed Giant, when you have 2 people just gaining life and drawing cards constantly, it gets disgusting really fast. Alright, that's the full 5 of those. And I think I don't think we've missed any possible gold ones. Not yet, at least. Yeah, it's been a good couple days of, it was a good couple days of Magic for me. And it's just unfortunate that, after all that, I came home with a sore throat, and, well, hopefully I'm not sick enough that or hopefully I'm not sick. Wait, that's seriously the end? Where are the spots where I could get the gold canisters? I seriously did not see anywhere where I could get gold canisters. They didn't program a sprite for Vazok in for that. And now he's down to one leg. No, he just stuck it right back on. I got Layrac. I got one. Don't know where the others 3 are. I got Smuggler's Cove up to a bronze at least. Don't forget to visit Belta in the Matoran Enclave shop to upgrade and unlock items in the Bionicle world. You know what I'm gonna do? Because I think I have enough. Nope, I don't. I could get the first bonus level if I wanted to, but I'm going to save those for after. Yeah, I think I should be able to get through Vazok, because I'm only missing 1 silver canister and some gold canisters, but anything I don't find, anything I don't find in this, I can just get the canister locator and come back, because I do want to make this a 100% playthrough, because I honestly love this game. And I wish they made, I don't know, I wish there was more Bionicle video games, because, yeah, like that was my childhood. Just, yeah, a lot of Bionicle. When I was much younger, I collected basically all of them that I could get my hands on. Missed some of the bigger ones, like, around the time when I got into it, there was like Kreka and Nadiki and Taraga Dume and stuff like that, and I didn't get any of them. But I got all the small ones from that time period. And I was also the kind of person who, like, put them together and then was just like, okay, yeah, these are staying together. which a lot of people didn't get. And it's because I felt like I could tell a better story with them than with making weird things. And yeah, sometimes I made things. But yeah. I kind of want to do videos with some of the Bionicle figures I have at some point. I don't know what kind. But yeah, more recently, Bionicle made a bit of a comeback. In that LEGO released a couple new lines of them. My goal was to just collect all of them as a homage to my favorite theme, but alas, I never was able to. Well, because stuff started happening in my life, and yeah, that was unfortunate. And then at this point, they're like 2 years out of being made, so I don't think they made any more after that. Because the way they changed it, they made a new story instead of picking up where the old story left off, which makes sense. Like they wanted to do something cool, and for the most part, they succeeded. They made some cool stuff, but there was something the original had that they just couldn't reproduce with the new one. But I think it still remains their most popular original theme to this day. Like, because it lasted for 9 or 10 years at first. The first one went from 2001, I believe, to 2007. Or no, 2001 to 2010. What am I talking about? Yeah, I didn't get any of the 2010 line, just because I felt like it was lacking a little bit of something. But 2009 one was pretty cool, and then I was very sad when I found out that it was ending at the... Yeah, I was very sad to find out that it was ending, and still don't get why they ended it. Like, I'm guessing they just wanted to move on to new things, but it is still their most popular theme. Like, one would assume they might want to keep that going. And the story did keep going on, there was a website where the story kept going for like a few years. And as replacements go, Hero Factory was not the worst. It was pretty cool. The show, I think, I think the show was the best part of the theme, honestly. Like, it introduced me to the fact that Mark Hamill's a voice actor. I honestly did not know that. Because, yeah, never did watch cartoons, including Batman ones, so I never saw anything that I didn't hear him as the Joker until I played Batman Arkham Asylum for the first time, and that was an eye opener. Because up until that point, I'd really just seen him as Luke Skywalker, because Star Wars. But like now he's a lot more, which is awesome. Because you never want to be defined by just one role. No matter how much fun you have playing a character, you never really want to be just that one character. Because then you get typecast and then yada yada yada. That's just back the way it came. Alright. Yeah, someone took up the Vazon counter. 'Cause that's another one. I think there's just one for this level, though. Well, I know that's the way I'm supposed to go. No, that's where the Vazon stuff is. Get a nice lob. Oh, there's nothing up there. What else is new that I haven't talked about? Oh yeah. It's now just 2 months until I enter my second decade. Until I enter my third decade on this planet. Currently sit at 19 and turning... Yeah, sitting at 18, turning 19 in October. Which would be the first birthday I've had since I started doing videos regularly. Which honestly was one of several turning points for me in recent years. One of which most recently was when I went to see Panic at the Disco and I started, I don't know, just there was an effect that was had, and it made me feel better about myself, and I started taking better care of myself. So I've been basically just eating healthy for... that was only 2 weeks ago. yeah, I think once my voice recovers a bit, then I'm going to start on my singing. I might do a video showcasing some of my art. I'm not great at art, but I'm learning. And I've got a lot of friends who do art, so I've got a lot of people who I trust their opinions, and if I ask questions, I am sure they have been receptive to answering them. And yeah, I'm already improving, at least in my opinion. Because one thing about me is when I want to learn something, I learn fast. I learned how to play Magic the Gathering I learned how to play at a competent competitive level in less than a year. Then I became the person that people started asking about rules and stuff within another year of that. Which may not seem like much, but when you're playing with people who've been playing the game for years and years, and they ask you for knowing to know how things work, even if it's just to clarify something that they're already pretty sure of. I don't know. I just feel like it means something. Basically, I got bored and read basically the entire rule book. And I've retained a good portion of it. There are definitely still things that I need to. There are definitely things that I need to brush up a bit on. I don't know much about layers in Magic. I don't know what happens on which layer, for the most part. But that's stuff that rarely is relevant, and if it is relevant, it's yeah. I think the most relevant thing that would be considered similar to that is in regards to cost reduction effects and effects such as Commander Tax or Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, stuff like that. And it's effects that increase the cost. Wow, okay, I sucked at that level. And yet somehow I got silver. 500 Borok defeated. Well, I'll come back there once I get the canister locator. I'm pretty sure I can find all 4 gold canisters on this one, though. Oh my god, it gave us Vezok for the boss fight against Vezok. Let's open this baby up. 1 gold canister. And that's when it chose to yeah, acknowledging the crowd. And he enters the ring, chewing something that we don't know what or where it is, and we don't particularly want to see it. And we're invincible already. Alright, so it looks like there's one up there. They're both up there somewhere. Oh yeah, I see a boulder that I can break with Huki. Let's have a good old Vezok off. Mess with the space-time continuum a bit. Jeez, this weapon is... like... I get that's kind of supposed to be, but it just feels almost wrong how overpowered it is. Alright, so now we're down to the point where we just kind of hose them. Well, hosing his minions a bit. Oh yeah. So over the past couple days I've opened, I think, 3 packs of Magic 2019 and 1 standard showdown pack, and I got pretty insanely lucky. Got nickel, 1 copy of Nicol Bolas, 1 Liliana. Though to be fair, I think I would have preferred Scape Shift or Crucible Worlds, but that Liliana is busted in zombie decks. And I know a guy who plays zombies, like, religiously, so all good there. And I also know a guy who collects dragons, so. And then I opened a foil Alpine Moon and I know a mono red Tron player who currently runs Blood Moon mainboard to kind of act as a mirror breaker. But Alpine Moon in that situation is just strictly better because it only affects your opponents. So you can play it name Urza's Tower. Your opponent now cannot get Tron. Which, in a Tron mirror, locking your opponent off Tron is pretty insane. Yeah, I think next week at F&M I'm going to be playing some Burn, which Burn is a deck it's very special to me. It's the first deck I learned to play at a competitive level, the second being my personal favorite deck, Storm. It's the first deck I won an F&M with because someone had a bunch of decks and I couldn't decide what to play out of mine, so he offered to lend me one of his. And I ended up borrowing Burn, and no one took a game off me, let alone a match. Granted, it probably helped that I was up against people who probably hadn't quite played their decks as much as I played Burn. Because round 1 was against Escape Shift, round 2 was against Green Devotion, but that was or it wasn't Green Devotion, theirs was Green Stompy. They didn't run any Devotion things in there. Which that is something that it really annoys me when people get at Devotion, Mono Green Devotion and Mono Green Stompy mixed up, because, well, I built a Mono Green Devotion deck, and I took special care to make sure that it was, like, very much Devotion themed. And people are like, oh, it's Mono Green Stompy, and I'm like, no, it's Mono Green Devotion. Which I'm aware that makes me sound a little bit like, I can't see the moon anymore. Makes me sound a little bit like, it's like, actually the deck is this. It's like, no, it's just, they're distinctly different decks. Mono Green Stompy plays things that, it's just big green stompy creatures. Whereas Green Devotion is very focused on putting as many green mana symbols into play as just humanly possible. And you know you're successful when you start playing in 15/15s for 3 mana. And can scare Bogle's players with a deck that has a objectively horrible matchup against Bogle's. What the hell is that last one? 64,000. Already unlocked Vezok. Vezok's Deluge. Completed on gold. Yep, I know. Grade and unlock. How much do I have? 715,000. Jeez. Got Sukarak. That is not Levacal. That is not Korakal. That is Rorzak. That is Gurak. That is Turak. That is in fact Nadiki, Axon, Kurak, Borak. Okay, yeah, those are all correct. Alright. Let's learn some of these names. Dume's Kanohi Carol, Pometru Great Disc. That's the Laymetru Great Disc. That's the Gametru Great Disc. Likan's Kanohi Hao, Kanohi Aki, which looks strangely like the Kanohi Hao. Onawa's Toa Disc, Pohatu's Kanohi Kakama, Protodermic Kanohi Pakari Nuva, Protodermic Kanohi Miru Nuva, Protodermic Kanohi Cacao Nuva. That's just a Liwa's Kanohi Miru. That is Kongu's Kanohi Miru. Nuparu's Kanohi Pakari. Kanohi Huna. Kanohi Ru. Silver Chronicle Za. Silver Chronicle Vu. Silver Chronicle Bo. Oh yeah, this is what I was curious about. Makuta Stone. Huh. Rotuga. Solid gold. How? And then this is just, yeah. I think I can squeeze in another couple levels. This is going to be a long ass video, but I haven't done anything there. I think I did Thox second, so yeah, let's just fucking go to Thox Mountain and flooded lowlands. Not very mountainous. Yeah, I think this will be the last level. Oh, there's the moon. Well, it's a good thing the smoke... Well, I can tell the smoke's cleared up. It's, the moon is glowing. Fortunately, I don't see myself getting any hairier. Despite how hard to tell that might be in some situations. I'm talking about my feet. Get your mind out of the gutter. Oh yeah, Thok. Woo! Got the freeze beam. Why is that Tannock like... so... I don't know, he's walking with his shoulders up like he's expecting to get jumped at any moment. Okay, so it seems like all the Paraka just have extremely powerful beam-based weapons that just tear through enemies like they're nothing. You're going to see a backflip any second now. There you go, backflip. Backflip so hard he kicked that guy into next week. Ooh, Propagate already. bunch of stuff in here. It's locking me onto really random things. Oh good. It's a Vacuum Bordak. You know, the ones that get back up. Oh, maybe it is just Bordak that get back up. Because their whole aesthetic was that they never friggin' gave up. Or something like that. I'll consult the encyclopedia. Whenever I say encyclopedia now, I can just hear Ted Mosby going, it's encyclopedia. Well, it would be if it was spelled with the AE thing anymore. But people I haven't seen it spelled like that in a long, long time. By that I mean ever. It's just spelled with an E, which makes it encyclopedia. That was a good show. Except the finale. Like, honestly, I very much enjoyed How I Met Your Mother until the finale, which I found to be long-winded and yeah, there wasn't much. There was a point where usually I'm all about like a long. It's kind of funny. Okay, my problem with shows like Friends and Frasier is that their endings were so open-ended. Like, literally anything could have happened. And, like, I know what they're trying to make you assume, but we know the history of these characters. Like, anything could happen. Like, I know they're implying that Ross and Rachel get together. Anything could happen. Like, they've gotten together in the past. We all know that has turned out. And while it totally could work out this time, it also could not work out. And yeah, Frasier, I know what they were getting at with him taking a plane to the place, but again, anything could happen. And yeah, with shows like that, I was always like, oh, it's too open-ended. But with How I Met Your Mother, the show is literally called How I Met Your Mother. So, having Ted meet the mother would be a satisfying conclusion to that, because that is literally the name of the show. And that's really all they had to. That's really all they had to get to finish. But at least they made like a shortened version that was just up until him meeting the mother. And honestly, that was a good ending to it. So, I mean, why didn't they just do that in the first place instead of throwing in this whole other thing? Yeah. I don't know. Seemed a little... Again, I don't know. I'm not yet a story expert, but I do think they could have done better. With how the prior seasons went, I do feel like they could have done a lot better with the finale. Because I remember watching the episodes leading up to the finale and being super excited. And then I watched the finale and I was just like, wait, that's it? That's how they're ending this? What other sitcoms are there that are good? I think Will and Grace's ending was first ending. They recently restarted it or not restarted it, but started making it again and made the original ending no longer canon, which is good because it's a classic case of the original ending was a classic case of awful taste but a great execution, which is the subreddit, which is why I worded it like that. Explaining the joke doesn't make the joke any funnier. Oh, I probably have to do this. Yeah, so it ended in a way that was... In one way, it was a satisfying ending, because it tied off all the character arcs and stuff. But it was... So that was the great execution. But the awful taste was the fact that it just didn't fit. They had these people who'd been through so much shit with each other just fall out for no reason and let that just drive them apart. And I don't know. I feel like there's a point with people where you just stop, like, where you just forget all the little things that at one point got to you. And I feel like they were definitely at that point. So yeah, not a super fan of the otherwise pretty good. Yeah. In theory, it's a good ending. In practice, it wasn't. But I feel like now they got a second chance. They can use that second chance to make a better ending. Simple as that. Though it is a really good show. And, yeah. Arrested Development recently came back. They did a bunch of seasons way back in the day. And then they did one in 2013 that I've been advised not to watch because I haven't heard good about it. Which, I know I should probably make my own opinions, or I should definitely make my own opinions. Always make your own opinions if you can. But in this case, I've been informed that it almost ruins the show. For rewatching. And who knows, hopefully I know they recently came out with another season, and hopefully that kind of turns it around, because the first 3 seasons were incredible. Like, just great characters, great plot, like, it's goofy, but it's not outside the realm of quite possible. There are definitely never nudes out in the world. For anyone who may not know, a never nude is someone who at all times must remain with some semblance of clothing. Much like Tobias Funke from Arrested Development, who basically always wore cutoffs, like even in the shower. I might actually lose a mask for the first time in a while. Yep, there it goes. Come on, Congress, finish the job. Put him down. There we go. I'm going to have a hell of a time remembering all the stuff I talked about in this video to make a creative title surrounding it. Well, that's just littering. Dude, the door control's right next to you. Got Bogarak. Got the toy discs of Nakama and Mato. That's it. Already had Kurak. Flooded Lowlands is now silver. Used to be a blue. Alright. Well, that's a solid hour and a half of Bionicle. No progress was made. No progress needed to be made. This was really just me relaxing and talking for an hour and a half. And I don't know if there were any long dead periods. I hope not. I might catch some editing. I don't know. I usually just go copy all the way through for these, because it's uncut. It's part of the beauty of it. But this one I'm gonna do a bit of re-looping on, just to see. So anyways, if anyone actually watched this all the way through, congratulations. You win a cookie. You can pick it up from your local cookie jar or whatever. So thank you everyone for watching this video, sticking through me with my rants, and being patient if I do end up being sick. If you like this video and would like to see more mega episodes in the future, shut the fuck up, Jala. Please feel free to leave a like down below, subscribe for more content. I do multiple videos a week, and I'm currently in the writing process of writing a Magic the Gathering related comedy sketch, and making a guide to Storm, because Storm is my favorite deck. Leave a comment if you have any ideas of stuff I should do in the future. I'll see you next time.